Welcome to the She Did It Her Way podcast, where it's all about making the ultimate leap from your 9 to 5 and building a business and life you love, all while doing it your way. I'm your host, Amanda Boleyn. Let's get started. Hey friend, happy New Year's Eve. We did it officially. If you're listening to this on the day that the episode drops and airs, it's always a very nostalgic time, I feel like. The end of the year and then the new year rolling in and all the feels. So excited. So exciting. I hope that you're doing something fun with your family or friends in the best, safe, and healthiest way possible for whatever that looks like and feels like for you. And I'm so excited to be on this journey with you and really excited to dive into today's podcast episode, which is all about how to set your one yearly goal as a new entrepreneur. And I'm really looking forward to diving into this topic because I know for me, when I started my business in the beginning, it was really hard to figure out what was my goal for the next year. How did I know what to set? What was the right goal? And I had so much drama around goal setting. And so I hope that today's podcast episode, especially if you're a new entrepreneur, help provide some tactical steps and clarity on how to set your goal in the new year, which on the podcast all next month, I'm going to be talking about how to set goals, how to work with unstoppable goals, my 5-step process, a goal support system, and more. So today, let's unpack how to set goals as a new entrepreneur. And let's say, like I said, you're someone who is planning on starting a business in the next year, or maybe you're embarking on your second year in business, and setting a goal that feels good and inspires you can sometimes be a little tricky because you don't have as much data to work off of, which is what I found when I was reflecting and thinking about this topic for today's episode, is that when you don't have that previous data to work off of, it's a little bit challenging. And not to say that there isn't anything that we can't work off of, but as a new business owner, you haven't taken massive action or produced a lot of results like you do when you're in your third, your fourth, your fifth, your sixth, your 10th year in business. And that can feel a little challenging. And what I don't want you to do is to not set any goal. Okay. The further along you are in business, the easier it becomes to set goals, and you have more clarity because you have many years of results within your business under your belt to assess. And therefore you can create more clarity on setting goals for yourself and business in the next year and thereafter. So a couple of things that I found that you want to avoid when you set your one yearly goal, which I recommend being a revenue goal, because sometimes if we want to set all the goals, it's really hard to stay focused and to not get overwhelmed. And we want to avoid deciding a revenue goal because it's what we think that we should have as our revenue goal. And I see this happen a lot. And I even did it as well, right? We see someone else's revenue goal and we think that we should have the same revenue goal, especially the 6-figure as a business revenue goal is a really big one. And you may feel the pressure that you think that you need to have a goal of a 6-figure business because someone else does. And not to say that that's bad, but we want to avoid just picking a goal because that's what we think we should pick. We also want to avoid picking a revenue goal that doesn't really inspire or excite us. We want to have some sort of emotional excitement and inspiration and fuel in order to achieve our goal. We want to get excited. We want to make sure that while it's a stretch, it still feels very tangible, that we can make it happen. We also want to avoid using someone else's revenue goal as yours, unless it makes sense. So again, it kind of goes with the first thing that I said, is that really pay attention to your revenue goal. Are you picking a revenue goal because someone else has it and that you think you should have it? Are you picking a revenue goal because someone else has it and it's just easier for you to pick one that someone else has? We want to avoid comparing our goals to others. It's really easy to get into comparison, especially as an entrepreneur and a new business owner, because we oftentimes we haven't built up confidence and cultivated that confidence within ourselves. And so we tend to want to look outside of ourselves and see what that other person is doing. And And if someone else has a larger goal than we do, it's very easy to get into that comparison trap and think, well, what's wrong with me? Why isn't my goal bigger? Why don't I have a larger goal? And then we go into this thought drama, which doesn't serve us at all. And that is another reminder that you are on your journey in this life and in business. And anytime you compare yourself to others outside of you, it isn't productive and it doesn't benefit you. And everybody's on a different journey. Some people are scaling their business because they want to scale it to push the boundaries. Some people are choosing not to scale their business because they want to create a lifestyle. And that's why it's really important to choose goals and pick a goal that's based on your unique situation and not compared to other people. The next one is the last thing you want to avoid is judging your goals as if your goals aren't enough, right? If you or we are judging our goals that they're not good enough, it's actually a projection on how we feel about ourselves. And so we want to be mindful to not judge our goals. We want to love our goals. We want to feel good about our goals. We want to think positive thoughts about our goals and get excited about them. So instead, what I want to offer up is set purposeful revenue driven goals. And when it's purposeful revenue driven goals, they actually have a purpose. You got to that number based on your current situation and based on them serving a purpose, rather than saying, I want to make 6 figures this year without actually doing the math, peeling back the curtain. Does this make sense? We're going to look at using the good, better, best framework to help us set a range, which I'll go into that. And side note, I heard about this years ago. I can't remember the individual that I heard it from, but it's a really great framework. And then pick one out of the good, better, best and work backwards from that goal. And I'm actually going to give you some scenarios in today's podcast episode that hopefully you can find some sort of relation or yourself within them to help you lay a foundation to set purposeful revenue driven goals that you can get excited about. Your revenue goal is your revenue. It's not someone else's. And you want to make it make sense for you and the results that you want to achieve in your business and life. Setting false revenue goals could actually bottleneck you in achieving more financial revenue. For example, if you are focused on the 6-figure business revenue mark, and that's what you're focused on and where your attention goes, for whatever reason you pick that, you could be energetically bottlenecking your ability to make your first 40 grand, because the energy that is fueling the 6-figure might not be energy that aligns and might not be energy that inspires you, which this is also another term of energy fuel. And where you take action from, the place in which you take action from, is it from a inspirational feel good place, or is it a rushing, I got to hit this revenue goal place? Those are two very different energies. And if you set a revenue goal that you're not emotionally inspired or attached to, and there's no purpose, the energy that you bring to it might actually bottleneck you from achieving a revenue goal that would have purpose behind it. So for example, if your goal in the new year is to quit your job, then your one financial revenue goal must allow you to do that. If your goal is to start a business and generate 50% of your corporate income, then your goal must reflect that, your revenue number goal. First, decide what you want the outcome or result to be at the end of next year. Do you want to go full-time in your business? Do you want to fully replace your income? Do you want to start a business and make 50% of your income? If you want to go full-time, then you'll have to answer the question of, how much money do I need to make in order to go full-time? This will help you set purposeful revenue goals rather than being tempted to pick something simply to pick it. If we pick an arbitrary goal, like the 6-figure mark, it'll be difficult and challenging for our brain to connect with it. Start by understanding your personal finances. How much do you need to make every month in order to support yourself and continue living the way you want to live? And maybe you decide you're willing to cut some things out of your budget in order to live simpler so that you can quit your job and go full-time sooner. So here are a couple scenarios. Scenario 1, you have 0 years in business. You've always wanted to start your own business, and this coming year is the year you've decided to just go for it. You have a good idea of what you want to help people with and what you want to coach them on. You just need to take action, right? You make 60 grand in your corporate job, which is $5,000 per month. You've decided that you want to prove your business model in the next year while keeping your full-time job. And based on the time that you have, you decide that your goal is to generate and prove your business of 25% of your corporate earnings. So your goal in this upcoming year is to generate $15,000 in your business. The second scenario, now you might be listening and you might be in this scenario where you are ending this year with 1 year in your business. You have side hustled your way. You're still working your corporate job. And let's say that the next year you want to go full time in your business. And this past year you made $10,000 in your business while working full time. And it was a combination of group programs, ebooks, and 1 or 2 one-on-one clients. Your corporate salary is also $60,000, so $5,000 a month. And you've gone through your personal finances and decided that you could live off of $3,500 per month, which is a $42,000 salary if you had to. Not ideal, but you know you can make it work. So those are the 2 scenarios. And again, even if your experience or where you're at right now doesn't entirely match up with this, what I want you to do is really look at the results though. The results are, what did you do this year in business? What did you produce or not produce? What was your income? How much did you spend in your personal life? Get really familiar with how much it is for you to live, because we want to work with numbers. Then the second piece is using the good, better, best method to help us set a range. And rather than just trying to pick one goal from the start, what you can do is you can create a system that allows you to identify a range. And then from there, you can pick one goal to work from. The way I like to use this method is my good is the absolute minimum. My best is my stretch impossible goal. And my better is that sweet spot. So again, somewhere in between the impossible and my minimum. And this is really where I have found that setting a range, it takes the pressure off of setting just one goal, where now what we're doing is we're setting a range and then we're drilling down a little bit more. So scenario 1, again, know you're starting your business in this upcoming year. Your minimum is $15,000. So that's your good. You then decide that your best goal would be a full replacement of your income, which is $60,000. And you decide that for your better, your like stretch goal, your sweet spot is half of that. So $30,000. So you have this ladder, you have this range. If you're in the scenario 2, remember your floor, your minimum was $42,000. You decide that your better goal is to fully replace your income at $60,000 and your best goal is to do $84,000. So again, you have these good, better, best ranges, and then using this can help you create specificity with numbers so you know that then you can work backwards from. Once you've set the good, better, best goals, pick one that makes you feel excited and inspired by it. And it doesn't have to be your best impossible goal, although it could be. But let's say for scenario 1, this person picks their good goal, which is the $15,000, 25% of their revenue, because it feels doable and achievable to them as someone who is going to be in their first year in business with no previous experience. Let's say for scenario 2, this person picks her better goal of $60,000 annually. She's already got a year's worth of experience under her belt. She made $10,000 last year. So she's feeling pretty confident in her ability to hit that better goal and maybe even beyond that. So person number 1 picked their good goal. Person number 2 picked their better goal. Again, we're not comparing. It's not about taking our goal and comparing it to someone else's. It's about what makes us feel good, inspired, and excited. If you feel like it's daunting, that whole thought loop is going to keep you stuck. You want to pick a goal that you can feel excited and inspired by. And then once you have your annual revenue goal selected, you want to figure out how you're going to achieve this goal. And I really caution the step in the how, because oftentimes if you have the outcome that you want to achieve and you are able to stay in the present moment, the how will unveil itself. So when you go into the how, go into it with total play and brainstorm and excitement and experiment. So in scenario 1, her goal is to make $1,250 per month to hit her $15,000 revenue goal. And in year 1, you're most likely trying a few different offers to figure out which one sticks. So the question for her might be, what can I offer to reach my goal? Maybe it's coaching, maybe it is downloadable products, maybe it's group coaching. But the whole great thing about this is she now knows her number. And most likely in both scenarios, it's also going to assess of like, what coaching program do I need to insert or enroll myself in to get more clarity to help me build my business, right? In scenario 2, she has her first year of business and the results to work off of. And since her goal is now $5,000 a month, she can look at her previous offers and results to determine how she wants to reach her goal in the new year. Maybe it is increasing the price of her one-on-one, introducing a group program to get leverage over time and money. If her one-on-one is a 3-month high-intensity coaching program at, let's say, $1,000 a month, she then needs to get 5 clients every 3 months. Now that she knows she needs to get 5 clients, she can do the math to know how many conversations and sales calls she needs to have and conduct in order to convert that number of clients, right? And achieving your revenue goal is really about numbers and math, supported by systems that allow you to take action to produce the results that you want. And the biggest piece of advice that I can give you as a new business owner, as an entrepreneur, is to not be afraid to make mistakes and actually honestly redefine the meaning that you make mistakes, because there are no mistakes. I don't believe there are mistakes. I think there's outcomes, and I believe that there are lessons. And so once you can remove that fear that you might get it wrong, because most likely you will get it quote unquote wrong, but if you believe that there is no wrong and right, then you can remove the pressure that you have to make it perfect or that you have to get it spot on. Because a lot of this is taking that massive action to produce the results to get closer to the outcome that you want. And that is what I want to leave you with in 2020. It has been an amazing year. I've absolutely enjoyed every single episode and chatting with you. And I'm really looking forward to 2021. And I can't wait to talk to you in the next year, in the new year. Have an amazing rest of your week. Enjoy New Year's Eve and enjoy New Year's Day, and keep doing it your way. If you enjoyed today's podcast episode, you can head on over to shediditherwaypodcast.com, where you can access the entire vault of She Did It Her Way podcast episodes and more information all about how to make the ultimate leap from your 9-to-5. And if you enjoyed today's episode, I would be so grateful if you headed on over to iTunes and left a review letting me know what you love about the She Did It Her Way podcast. Until next time, keep doing it your way.